Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Friends, this Saturday, the 25th February 2023, we hope to discuss the Kakacupama sutta, or the simile of the saw, from the Majjhima Nikaya. Kakacha means saw, and upama means simile. The Buddha delivered this sutta to show the difference between limited kindness and compassion and boundless loving kindness. He shows that when we radiate the whole world with a deep sense of compassion and kindness, it will lead to a complete and deep peace, patience, and happiness within us and in the world. Loving kindness is not just an ethical principle, but an indispensable mental state that will bring peace and joy into our minds. Now, in this sutta, the monk Molya Paguna was infatuated with the bhikkhunis and unnecessarily got involved in conflicts and anger whenever the bhikkhunis were criticized by others or blamed for something. In this teaching, the value of patience and non-violence, which is specially considered an essential quality in a monastic, is contrasted with the lack of restraint and patience. The Buddha contrasts the behavior of a layman with the morality of a bhikkhu, so that cultivating boundless loving kindness and compassion would clear away all boundaries and prejudices from the mind and create an unshaken basis for one's relationship with the world. In this sutta, the Buddha teaches another aspect of metta. The usual aspect we know is, like in the Karaniya Metta Sutta. But in this, the Buddha gives a different aspect. That is how to relate to the world and all worldly things with patience and openness, by abandoning desire and without inner hate. You know, now sometimes we get angry and we don't show it, but inside we keep that anger. So there is inner hate, but compassionate with loving kindness for the welfare of the injured and afflicted. You see, now what it means is, now if we are watching some conflict, we must have unbounded compassion for both parties, not only for one party. That's what it means. The Buddha shows how one could train the mind to remain unaffected if another is abused by word, deed, or action, or if you yourself is thus affected, so that without uttering any evil words, be compassionate for his or her welfare without inner hate, not to keep hatred in your mind. The Buddha shows how one could stay equanimous even when one is spoken to roughly, impolitely, rudely, or insultingly. He says there are many ways of speech. That is, the speech may be suitable or unsuitable, true or untrue, gentle or harsh, something good or something harmful, spoken with loving kindness or loving friendliness, or with inner hate. These are the ways in which we could hear speech from others. Whatever kind of speech is used by others, we should train ourselves not to utter evil words, but be compassionate and first with loving kindness for the speaker, the one who is, talking to us in that way. And then for the whole world, spread loving kindness that is plentiful, exalted, immeasurable, without hostility and ill will. These words are from the sutta itself. The Buddha advises the bhikkhus on how to be free from illness and affliction, and enjoy lightness, strength, and true happiness. One way is to take one meal a day and maintain mindfulness. Pagguna's infatuation is due to deep-rooted lust. And lust is increased when one takes a lot of food. Though Buddha was not able to convince Pagguna, he continued to advise him. For when the Dhamma seeds are sown, perhaps later they may mature into liberation. We have heard that Pagguna left the robe, but later it is said that he later, maybe not during the Buddha's time, that he again became a monk and became an arahant. Also, one should abandon what is unwholesome and practice wholesome states. In this way, one would come to growth, increase, and fulfillment in this Dhamma and discipline. Now, don't think this is only for monastics. It is for lay people too. They can, while they are as laity, they could practice metta and the 4 Brahma Viharas. Further, the Buddha says that some bhikkhus are extremely gentle, meek, and peaceful, as long as no disagreeable speeches touches them. But when they come across disagreeable speech, they are no longer gentle, meek, and peaceful. If a bhikkhu can be gently corrected when he receives robes, arms, food, a resting place, and medicine, the four requisites, but cannot be shown any disapproval when not receiving the four requisites, should train themselves to receive correction because they honor, respect, and revere the Dhamma. If they revere the Dhamma, if they pay respect to the Dhamma, they should be more mindful. The Buddha gives a parable to illustrate how loving kindness should be practiced, even when things are not in your favor. Here, in the Buddha's parable, a lady who is well known to be a gentle and calm person is tested by her servant. She wants to find out whether actually her mistress is what she is supposed to be. She irritates her mistress repeatedly by sleeping till late in the morning. At first, the lady just shows her disapproval, but finally gets thoroughly angry and hits the servant, injuring her. Now, this is, remember, a parable, not an actual story. What Buddha has made to tell the monks what it is like. The Buddha tells his disciples not to be like the lady who remains calm and gentle when things are running smoothly, but has the hidden seed of anger waiting to come out when disagreeable things appear. Now, I thought you might like a more modern story. Now, you may like this story that I found from one of Ajahn Amaro's talks. In contrast to the above story here, you will see how kind words could make even a child obey and be honest, though things may turn against her. A certain woman, while tidying up her living room, noticed that a little glass horse, a toy or a memento or something like that, little glass horse was missing from the top of the bookcase where it was earlier. She asked her little daughter, who was there at that time, if she knew where it was. The little girl looked scared and with difficulty said, "I don't know." The mother, without any anger, told her kindly to step out of the room and think about that question for a little while and then come back. Then when the child went out and then after some time came back into the room, she asked again, "What happened to that glass horse?" Then the child said, "I broke it. I'm so sorry, sorry, sorry," she kept repeating. The mother asked her if she knew where the pieces were. The girl brought them. She had hidden them somewhere. And the mother and daughter spent a happy hour together, gluing the pieces together again. So you can see how the same situation could have been made much, much more difficult had the mother got angry. In another simile, the Buddha says, the earth is unmoved, though someone may try to damage it. Similarly, when someone is hostile or disagreeable. Instead of reacting, be expansive, boundless, free from hostility and ill will. Now that is about the earth. Another simile that Buddha uses is about space. Now space is formless and featureless, so that if someone tries to paint in space with colors and brushes, it cannot be done because of its nature. Can you do that? The Buddha takes his similes from nature. He says, if someone wants to heat up, to boil the river Ganges, see, by boiling the water, that is impossible. For the river is vast and deep. Similarly, when someone is hostile and disagreeable, instead of reacting, think. This is one of the 5 types of speech that the Buddha talked about. You remember I earlier gave you some examples. So I'll be unaffected and like the Ganges river, be abundant, exalted, immeasurable, without hostility and ill will. Now, you know that there is a very deep simile or parable called the saw parable that has given the title to this sutta. You see, Kakacupama sutta is applicable not only to monastics. The message of non-violence and patience applies to the laity too. They help to develop the mind and later end in total liberation. The Buddha says, now about this parable, even if bandits means thieves or robbers, were to attack you savagely and cut off your limbs with a saw, if you develop a mind of hate towards them, you will not be carrying out my teaching. Now see the Buddha's advice to us. Therefore, you should train your mind to be unaffected and not utter any evil words, but stay with compassion for their welfare with a mind of loving kindness without hate. Starting with them, that means the robbers or bandits, spread the whole world with loving kindness that is abundant, exalted, immeasurable, without ill will. Also, the Buddha adds, if you keep this simile constantly in mind, do you see any kind of speech, trivial or gross, that you could not endure? So, this will lead to your welfare and happiness for a long time. By keeping to this advice, actually what we are doing is, we are calming our own mind, right? Because the more we get angry, the more we are abusing our own mind. Here is another story that may perhaps bring you many memories from your own life. Now, this is the story. A boy, small boy, walked into a certain pet shop or pet store where there was a sign, puppies for sale. He asked the owner the price of a puppy, and he answered $50. The boy said, I have $2.37. Now that's all he had, right? Can I look at them? You know, so he didn't want to say, I want to get one, but can I look at them? The store owner smiled and whistled. 5 beautiful tiny balls of fur came running. One puppy lagged behind, limping. The boy asked what was wrong with him. And the store owner said he was missing a hip socket. The boy said, I want to buy that one. The store owner replied, I'll give him to you free. The boy got very angry and said, I don't want him for free. That doggy is worth $50, just like the others. Can you see how he had been trained to look at every one in the same way, equanimously? But now I'll pay you the $2.37 that I have. But every month I'll bring 50 cents till I have given the full amount. Can you see how honest this child is? The owner tried to dissuade him, and ultimately the boy pulled up his pant, the pant that he was wearing, and showed him a badly twisted left leg and said, Sir, now you understand? Can you see? He thought of himself, or he put himself in the same position as the dog, as the puppy. When he arrived home, his mother asked if there were no ordinary, normal puppies at the pet store, like any other mother, right? Wouldn't have wanted the child to have an abnormal puppy, right? So that was what she asked. But what did the boy say? For everyone, he had the same answer. This puppy and I are alike. The next day, they went. That means the mother, of course, was a very understanding mother. She and the boy went to the veterinarian, right? Who said if the puppy walked 1 mile a day, he would recover his hip muscle. Now this boy and the dog, right, walked 1 mile every day until the puppy's hips healed. As they were jogging one day, the boy's leg brace fell off, and he saw that his own leg had healed. Can you see how? Now, this is what we call ditta dhamma vedaniya kamma in spiritual language. What it means is what you do now sometimes gives the result immediately, right? So in this same life, he got back his leg, which was twisted and badly injured. It became normal because he was helping he did not think of his own leg and think of recovering or regaining his health. He was thinking of the puppy. So understanding parents could help children to overcome their disabilities, fears, etc. And children learn to be more compassionate and kind towards their fellow beings. It's not only human beings, all beings, even plants. When we consider whether the parable of the sow that we talked about earlier is suitable to modern times, we should see our problems and if we are able to solve them with the means available to us today. As long as the three roots of evil, what are they? Greed, hatred, and delusion, are in society, we will meet violence in some form or another. Society is extremely complex and challenging. Therefore, we have to deal with many differing characters and situations. If we are not trained both emotionally and spiritually to face those challenges, we will fail both on a personal as well as a social level. The purpose of the Buddha's training is to produce wholesome individuals. Suppose we analyze and evaluate whatever the situation that we come across on the basis of certain values, say like how much happiness or freedom or honesty or our minds are involved, we may come to a better understanding of the situation that we have facing at that moment and how to solve whatever problem comes up. The questions that may come up with the situation are, does that situation threaten our lives? How does it affect our happiness? Does it limit our freedom? How honestly have we gauged the problem? What effect will it have on our minds? These are some of the questions that we could ask ourselves. Any problem is not individual, but has a network of causes and conditions underlying it. It's not a person or a thing, but, now you might think when something happens that there is another person involved in it. Actually, it is not a person or a thing, but a pattern of events or conditions. Also, this may affect different individuals differently. The way I would look at something is not the way some other person would look at it. It's different because each individual has his or her perceptions, right? If we can keep the Noble Eightfold Path in our mind, we would not go astray in our dealings with others. That would make us dignified, and also we would be able to see the same dignity in others. Thank you. Now, do you have any questions to ask? So, sit comfortably, relaxed, but upright, right? Take a few deep breaths and slowly let it out. Now, start focusing on the nose and see if you can find where the air touches your nose. Then go down further to the belly, abdomen, and see if you can see it coming up and out again. Gently exhale, gently inhale, and gently exhale. Slowly relax your muscles, the shoulders, the facial muscles. Relax. Then allow your breathing to come back to normal, to the natural rhythm. As we have been discussing metta, or the loving kindness, I think it's good for you to do some metta meditation now. So it's different from the breathing meditation, but we rely on the breath, right? Looking at the breath, now think of your own self. That is, think of yourself positively. We want everything to stay the same, don't we? But do they stay like that? Everything is impermanent. So everything is changing all the time. Even now, when I have said this word, it has gone out. So it's finished. Like that, everything is changing. Now, first of all, let us think of your own self and just think whether we have made any mistakes, any faults. Be honest to yourself and see. But just because we have our faults, we don't dislike ourselves, do we? We like ourselves. So, when we see others' faults also, we should not dislike them. So, we let us say, may I be happy. May all my thoughts be positive. May all my experiences be good. Not that everything will be good always, but let us wish for it. May I be free of problems. Sicknesses and sadnesses. May I be free of them. May I live long and peacefully, and may I quickly reach enlightenment. Isn't that what we all want? Wish for yourself, whatever you like to wish. Now bring to your mind someone that you really care for, like, and admire. It can be your parents or your teachers or a friend or anybody, it doesn't matter. Bring to your mind and wish the same for that person. Don't think of the faults of that person. Think of the goodnesses, the good that that person has. Everybody has good and also bad, but think of the good. And then think, may that person, whoever it is, be happy. May all his or her thoughts be positive. And may all the experiences that he or she has be good. May no problems be there, free of problems, and free of sicknesses and sadness. And also, may that person reach enlightenment quickly. Now think of someone neutral, not really very close to you, but someone, just in ordinary way, neutral to you. Sometimes and such a person might have helped you in some way at some point. So think of someone, maybe even a stranger, and show the same metta. May that person be happy. May that person live long and have good experiences, have positive thoughts. May no sadnesses and sickness approach that person. And may that person quickly attain enlightenment. Now think of an unfriendly person, someone that has said something to you, or you don't feel quite friendly with that person. Think of that person and wish the same. May you be happy. May you live long. May you have good thoughts and positive experiences. And may you not have sadness, sickness, etc. No problems. And may you be able to attain enlightenment quickly. So like that, think of this neutral, the unfriendly person in the same way as we thought of friendly people. You don't have to force yourself. Let your thoughts just come out, freely and calmly and without any force or, effort. Just let them come. Then you will feel that there is no anger in you. There will not be any bad feelings towards anybody. You will be positive and full of metta, which will make you happy and joyful. Now spread those joyful thoughts to the whole world. May all beings, human or otherwise, animal or non-human, or what, those that you can see or those that you cannot see. So any being who needs our metta, may they be happy. May they live long. May they not come to any sadness or sickness. May they be well, peaceful, and may they all be able to attain enlightenment quickly. Wish for the whole world. Now you can open your eyes, and I hope you have all benefited from the meditation, because by filling your mind with metta, it's not only that you radiate to others, but you become joyful and happy too. So thanks to all of you for coming. May all of you be well, happy and peaceful, and may all of you be able to meditate both